What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jaron Ikner back again with another reaction video for Starstruck TV. So, if you know me pretty well, you know that my spirit animal is Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. And mostly because of the fact that he's a multimedia artist like myself, he operates in different lanes, and I'm a big fan of his music. So, very excited to wake up this morning and hear that Donald Glover released some new music on a brand new website called DonaldGloverPresents.com. This album is set up as a live stream, and I think it's about 10 to 12 songs. And right now, you can go listen to it right now. It's actually playing on a loop, all the songs in a row. So I actually sat down, listened to the loop when I caught it at the beginning, listened to the whole album, and now we're here with a reaction video. First off, I will say this. Donald Glover is one of the type of artists that is all about evolution and reaching new levels and pushing himself sonically, creatively, in almost every go. And this album really is no exception. It feels like the spiritual successor to Awaken My Love. There seems to be a theme of love, respect, understanding, beauty. That seems to be what I gathered from the lyrics on this album. There's a couple features on here, including 21 Savage and SZA on the song Vibrate, which is a really cool song, and Ariana Grande. There's a couple old songs on here as well, including Feels Like Summer, which he dropped as a video last year or 2 years ago at this point. It's been a while. And Algorithm, which he put out as a secret song attached to the app that he has, which I still think you can get. There's a cool virtual reality app that you can get where you can unlock this song called Algorithm using a VR thing. It's a whole thing. And then it got leaked to the internet. So those songs are featured on here. And then there's also a couple of interludes, a couple of interludes on here and skits, including a skit featuring his son, which is pretty cool because this is like the first real interaction as his fans with his son, doing a little cameo on there. So that's pretty cool. I think that all in all, I actually really enjoy this album. Like I said, as I said at the top of this video, I'm a massive Donald Glover fan. But I've always been kind of like about his music. Like, I've always tell people that when it comes to his music, most of the music that, like, if I like a Donald Glover song, it's probably one of my favorite songs of all time. But if I don't like a Donald Glover song, then I don't like it. And for me, it's like 50-50, maybe at this point 60-40 in favor of most of the music that he's put out recently I really enjoy. I don't really visit Awaken My Love a lot, even though I really love that album, mostly because of the theme of it and the story behind it is a little bit personal for me, so I don't really go revisit this album. With that in mind, this album seems to have a little bit more universal feel to it. I can almost guarantee that if he does decide to do a traditional rollout with this album, that the song with SZA and 21 Savage will probably be a single. It's a really cool song. 21 Savage drops a pretty smooth verse on there, and then you have SZA, who continues to rise in popularity. He has another kind of poppy song with Ariana Grande on there. So this album is definitely geared for an audience that is wider than the hip-hop audience that he started in. And with that in mind, there's also no rapping on here, which to me is arguably the most disappointing thing about this project is that, for me, when Donald Glover was coming off of Because the Internet, lyrically speaking, I actually thought that he was one of the best lyricists in the game at the time. And I really was hoping that he would continue down the path of hip-hop and being a rapper. And then, as you know, he switched it up on Awaken My Love and went kind of funk and soul. On this album, this is more actually kind of genre bending. I wouldn't call it soul. There's not really, there's funk sounds on there. It's kind of soul, kind of synth wavy. It's kind of its own thing. Kind of feels kind of like a Prince album, which is a really cool way to compare it. I think that this is an album that was designed to be progressive and genre bending. And that's part of the reason why he didn't rap on this album. And I think that, honestly, when it comes to Donald Glover rapping, I think we're only going to see that in feature verses. Namely, like, the last rap verse that I think he did, and maybe someone can tell me if I'm wrong, was a song that he did with 21 Savage on 21 Savage's last album. That was his last rap verse that I can think of that he's done recently. So it for me, it's like, I mean, I really wish I could get some more rapping from this dude because I don't think he's reached his peak in that lane. But it's also 5 years removed, give or take, since he's really dove into the lane of doing a full rap album, and now he's on some other stuff. And Awaken My Love definitely unlocked a lot of things for him. You know what I'm saying, especially with the success of Redbone and the fact that he did win a Grammy, a couple Grammys from that album, and it makes more sense where he's at in his career as a Renaissance man, as an everyman, to expand his horizons. I can really see Donald Glover ending up like a Quincy Jones or Pharrell in terms of his goals to be more than what he's expected to be musically. And this album is a good representation of that because lyrically speaking, it's sound. The sounds are interesting. There's cool skits, and there's a lot of things to take from this album in terms of its presentation and how he is really trying to show people that he is more than just what he was on his last album, which I think is incredible because his last album was pretty darn out there in terms of what people expected from him. So once again, he had to switch it up, and he really took his time with it because you have to keep in mind that he did put out "This Is America," he did put out "Feel Like Summer." A lot of these songs. He also put out the Guava Island movie, which features a couple of songs from there too. And this is obviously a methodical thing that he is trying to really translate to the audience. Obviously, he has Atlanta coming out. I think he's doing 2 seasons next year. And maybe this is kind of part of that in some way, shape, or form because Donald Glover loves to really cross streams. And for example, we did get snippets of his last album during the first season of Atlanta in terms of the promo. There's a variety of examples I'll maybe make another video about, but the synergy and how Donald Glover operates in terms of how he puts his stuff out there is one of the most beautiful things about him as an artist. And even his rollout on this, it's a live stream that's constantly looping. And it's interesting because at this point, there's no clear monetization in all this. Like, there's no or even data mining. He's not asking for your email. There's no clicks or anything. It's literally just a landing page with the album streaming on a loop. And, if you know how the internet works, it's already online in different formats, whether it got leaked to SoundCloud or YouTube. And so for me, knowing, like I said before at the top of this video, that this dude is my spirit animal, I know there's a lot more to it than him just putting the album out on the website. And I think this is leading into something that is going to be unexpected because that's how he likes to operate. He surprise dropped this album on a Saturday night in the middle of a pandemic. So in a year that already has been packed with surprise drops from Eminem, Lil Uzi Vert, Jay Electronica. So which seems to be kind of the trend that we're seeing this year is that it's all about keeping fans and people who are interested in the music or the art in general on their toes. And if you really look at people who are good at that, I think Donald Glover is one of the best. I mean, if you look at his previous albums, this dude has done stuff from write scripts to make short films, all kinds of stuff. The only other person who's really above him or near him is Kanye West. But that's a different video. So it should be really interesting to see what he does with this album because there's a lot more to it than him just putting out these 12 songs on a website and streaming it. And even when he dropped Guava Island, that featured music that we still haven't heard that's not even on this album, remixes of his other songs. And so it's really interesting to see him navigate how he's presenting his music to us. And I'm very excited to see what he's going to do because it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for new music from Donald Glover for a minute now. So I'm really excited to see what he has to come. Also with Atlanta season 3 and season 4 coming out, we're getting a gear up. We're rolling out with stuff right now. So, really beautiful to see. Very exciting. And some of my favorite takeaways from this music, from this album, is the fact that it is really progressive. And it really is something that is sonically interesting to listen to. It's not just like trap beats or samples. You know what I'm saying? It seems like him and Ludwig really got together and we're like, all right, we got to push this envelope creatively and get on some weird stuff. Because a lot of these songs have some weird construction to them and sequencing, and lyrically, it's kind of out there too. It's kind of on some astral hippie kind of wave, the best way to describe it. But I really enjoy it, and that was just off the first listen. So I'm gonna give it probably a couple billion more listens, and we're in a weird time. So I think what's gonna probably happen, this is my prediction, is that we'll probably get the full stream in its capacity, Spotify, all that stuff, probably next Friday, and that the stream will probably stay up all week. That's my guess. Also, knowing Donald Glover, I bet you that website will evolve. Because right now, when you go to the website, you just have the landing page with it's seemingly 4 panels. The top one says cover on the top of it, and they're all like kind of sketches. Don't be surprised if you go back to the website tomorrow or later in the week and those sketches are filled in with color. I'm calling it right now. You heard it here first. And then from there, I bet it'll probably evolve into a full album cover or like a comic strip panel with full color. And I bet you there's going to probably be a music video attached to that too as well. Quote me on that. If I'm wrong, downvote me. If I'm right, come back and subscribe to this page. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you go listen to the album. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow Starstruck TV because we be doing videos like this all the time. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. We'll talk about it. One love, peace. Enjoy the rest of your life. And stay safe. Wash your hands. Please. Peace.